Are you ready to turn your potential into performance? If so, you're in the right place. This is the Coach Bru Show, and here's your host, John Brubaker.
Failing your way to success. Welcome to the Coach Bru podcast, episode number 520. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/coachbrew. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's audibletrial.com/coachbrew. And for those grammatically challenged, that would be Coach B-R-U. So this is not just episode number 520. This is also the 2-year anniversary of the release of my best-selling book, Stadium Status. And I wanted to record a podcast, talk about that a little bit. It's been one of my most successful projects to date, but that's not what I want to share with you. You need to know about all the failure I've had along the way to this point. And that failure that continues to happen because, and it happens to all of us, because we all have to fail our way to success. Yes, you heard that correctly. I said we have to fail our way to success. So I thought the best way I could share that with you is to give you a quick snapshot timeline of the past 15 years for me. For those of you who aren't familiar with my background, before I became an author and speaker and executive coach, I was a college lacrosse coach of 12 years. And in 2004, I was fired from my coaching job as a college coach, on my birthday nonetheless, for not winning a national championship. So that's sort of where entrepreneurship all began for me. I went into broadcasting while I was beginning my writing and speaking career. And this is in 2007 now. I lost my job at the ESPN radio when the station I worked at was sold. Fast forward to 2008, a few months later, I then lost the job I had with Fox Sports Radio 6 months in when the new station I worked at was also, you guessed it, sold. Side note, if you are selling a radio station, you should absolutely hire me to work there because that practically guarantees it'll be sold almost instantly for millions of dollars. I have the track record to prove that. So that was 2008. 2009, at the end, that happened at the end of 2008. In 2009, I realized I wanted to control my own destiny employment-wise, started a career full-time, right when the economy collapsed and we had the Great Recession, as an author and speaker. But I realized I wasn't going to have an influx of cash immediately, or any kind of immediate income. So I had to work a commission sales job, an awful commission sales job to pay the bills. Meanwhile, I was waking up at 5 a.m. to write. My first speaking gig that year was in a motel dining room. Not like a hotel and convention center or conference room, like a motel as in motor lodge dining room. My second gig was in a cafeteria. So nowhere to go but up from there. Fast forward to 2011, as I'm writing more, I was turned down over the course of that year by 150 literary agents. They said I was a, quote, nobody. So in 2012, I self-published my first book, The Coach Approach, Success Strategies from the Locker Room to the Boardroom. And then, lo and behold, bookstores wouldn't carry it for the same reason. They thought I was a nobody. But then a funny thing happened after I self-published The Coach Approach and got shot down by virtually every major book retailer, even the small ones for that matter. The book won an award at the New England Book Festival. It was one of the 2012 Business Books of the Year at the New England Book Festival. Press releases got sent to local media. They wouldn't cover the story on my award and said it was not newsworthy. Quote, not newsworthy. A funny thing happened a week later, however. I was cited in Forbes magazine, named one of the Forbes magazine's top 10 consultants who avoid the BS. 2013 rolls around. Another 150 agents, literary agents, turned me down as I was writing my second book. They said the manuscript was, quote, weak. So I self-published Seeds of Success, and that year it won Business Book of the Year in not only the Hollywood Book Festival, but also the Southern California Book Festival as well. The next natural progression with that was to get it adapted into a screenplay. So in 2014, I was looking for a film agent to represent me. 36, roughly 36, it could have been 40, film agents declined to represent me. They said Seeds of Success wouldn't make a good movie because, well, what good book ever makes a good movie, right? Hashtag sarcasm. And they thought, one person I remember, this really hurt, they said, if I were you, I would just probably say, make it a mockumentary. Basically, make a mockery out of your own work. No, thank you. So what we did is we crowdfunded $33,000 in 30 days on Kickstarter to adapt the book into a screenplay, and successfully did that. 2016 rolls around. I'm writing my next book and had a publishing deal at this time. However, the original publisher for Stadium Status, Bibliomotion, was sold, and my book deal was essentially in limbo. I didn't know what was going to happen. And fortunately, or so I thought at the time, the new publisher honored the contract. They kind of, I and about 40 other authors got swallowed up in, the deal or the sale of the company. And they honored the contract. The book, Stadium Status, Taking Your Business to the Big Time, became an Amazon bestseller and number one new release in its category. However, as we went further into the year, the publisher didn't really live up to their end of the contract, and I had to fight to get the rights to the book reverted back to me, which we successfully did. So it just essentially took you from 2004 to 2017. Here we are in 2018. And, the message is very clear. There's a lot of failure mixed in there with a few high points. But the point is this. We all have to fail our way to success. And here's the problem. If you take failure and rejection personally, and you will face a lot of failure and a lot of rejection, if you take that personally, your life will become an emotional roller coaster. I can't remember who's quoted as saying this, but I love the quote, failure is an event, not a person. So we don't have to wear that failure like we're wearing, a badge or a scarlet letter on our shirt. What we also don't have to do is we also don't have to listen to the critics. Thank God I didn't listen to any of the critics about my work. You don't need anyone's permission to succeed. You don't need a publisher. You don't need an agent. You don't need a speaker's bureau if you're looking to get into professional speaking. You don't need a radio station. You have a computer and a microphone. You have your own radio station that is your iPhone and your podcast. You literally don't need anyone's permission to do any of this or to succeed. You just got to chase your dreams and let your faith be greater than their doubt. And you will have doubters. You've got to be what I like to call, you've got to be the first believer. Now, there's a whole chapter in my book, Stadium Status, on why you need to be the first believer. So I'll tease that a little bit for you there. Subtle plug for the book. If you haven't read the book yet, I highly recommend you pick up a copy at stadiumstatusbook.com. Just go to my website, coachbru.com. And if you have picked up and read a copy of the book, I recommend you gift a copy to a loved one or a colleague you think needs to hear that message about failing your way to success and not listening to the critics and not needing permission to succeed from anyone. we control our own destiny, and there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. With technology, with how social media, podcasting, the blogosphere has leveled the playing field for the underdogs, for the little guys like you and me. So this is meant to be a message of encouragement on the 2-year anniversary of the release of my book, Stadium Status. And just a great reminder that we fail our way to success over and over and over again. And you will face more failure than success, but you don't need to wear that failure. Just wash it off and forward progress. Keep your eyes on the horizon. So I will continue this message in my next podcast next week. Until then, just remember, we fail our way to success, and you control your own destiny. Thanks for tuning in to the Coach Bru Show. Appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you next time around.
Thanks for listening to the Coach Bru Show. If you're not currently subscribed to the podcast, sign up now on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. And for more information to turn your potential into performance, head on over to coachbru.com now.